senior.
Hello, I'm Sheridan Haynes, and I am the TAFE secretary, and I am a senior.
Good morning, everybody. I'm Jennifer Barsones. I'm a senior, and I'm Stanislaus TAFE treasurer.
Hello, everyone. I'm Haley Price, and I am a junior, and I am vice president.
For this year's TAFE conference, we have decided to participate in the Professional Development competition. In this contest, we must plan and deliver a professional presentation to an actual audience pertaining to a relevant issue within our school and community.
We have chosen to discuss sexual harassment among students at San Saba High School because we and many other students can attest to the fact that these offensive acts occur far too often in a place where we should feel comfortable.
Have any of your students ever slapped each other's buttocks and just simply laughed it off as a joke?
Have any of your students ever made inappropriate jokes to one another?
Students ever participated in unwanted flirting or offenses towards each other?
Have any of your students gossiped about sexual rumors floating around the school? Sexual harassment is behavior characterized by making unwelcome and inappropriate sexual remarks or physical advances towards someone. Sexual harassment can also be defined as how the act affects the individual.
Today, with our presentation, we are trying to help educators identify and define sexual harassment. Our goal is for educators to manage and decrease sexual harassment in the classroom.
There are 4 types of sexual harassment: physical, verbal or written, nonverbal, and visual. Verbal or written sexual harassment is when sexual comments are said or written to an individual repeatedly. Some examples are saying sexual comments,
Inappropriately touch someone in a violent, unexpected, and traumatic way. Here are some examples: rubbing up against someone, physically interfering with another's movement.
Nonverbal sexual harassment refers to instances when nonverbal communication is used as a medium of harassment. Examples of this are making derogatory gestures and facial expressions.
Harassment is defined as assault on an individual's eyes. Some instances can involve displaying sexually suggestive objects, pictures, cartoons, and posters, showing other people sexually suggestive text or email.
So now I'm going to ask you all to participate in a comprehension activity. Before you have note cards on your table. Please choose one. They all have instances of sexual harassment. I would like for y'all to define them with the knowledge that we've given you so far and come up with a solution to it. We'll give you a couple of So now, do we have any volunteers that would like to share what they've come up with?
Ours was frequently following and standing too close to a person on purpose. So we were just talking about how people can respect persons, like their bubble. So
Yes.
like, don't get too close to me.
Yes. And what kind of sexual harassment do you think it would be?
That would probably be physical.
Physical, yes. And I feel like it could also fall under nonverbal. A lot of sexual harassment in school.
Well, the one we were talking about was brushing against your body. And one of the things we were talking about was, it's not so much boys and girls anymore. It's just, I see this a lot with boys and boys. Because I'm always telling them, guys, personal space, personal space. I guess that's physical and nonverbal.
You got confused about the kissing sounds and all that kind of stuff. Like, is that like verbal? Maybe the context of that is that nonverbal, like making sexual gestures. It says, and then it says the kissing sounds. So I kind of thought that was nonverbal, just kind of as a like a gesture that you do.
Yes, I think it could also fall under visual. They're forcing that person to look at what they're doing, so it's just like it can make them really uncomfortable.
So sexual harassment laws that deal with Title IV are also known as or to be more specific, Title IV of the Education Amendments of 1972. This law prohibits sexual discrimination, including sexual harassment or violence in the education programs or activity. Title VI of Civil Rights. This law is applied to sexual harassment when sex and race are being involved. And now I would like to share with you some statistics about sexual harassment among students. 65 students from grade 7 through 12. So they were asked a series of questions if they have ever been experienced sexual harassment in person, both or online. Another survey that was conducted by the same organization was on why students sexually harass other students. How normalized and insignificant sexual harassment has become in today's.
About the effects of sexual harassment. Sexual harassment can be very traumatic to the student and their mental health. It can cause them to fear attending school, weaken them. So how do you, as an educator, prevent these actions from occurring? We have come up with 3 ways to reduce sexual harassment in the classroom. An educator can create a safe space, enforce severe punishment, and educate students and teachers. Reducing sexual harassment is difficult when students do not feel comfortable telling their educators. If a student gets harassed, they need a safe space to confess, a space where their feelings will be valued and won't end up embarrassed or guilty for having the courage to confess. When a student knows they are being heard, they will be more likely to report. Victims also need to be assured that their harassment will be punished and won't receive a mere slap on the wrist. Creating a safe space for students is the first step in reducing sexual harassment within schools. Another way to reduce sexual harassment is to have severe and immediate punishment instead of a mere slap on the wrist. Oftentimes, harassment as common as butt slapping is only met by a mere warning. This creates an idea that in the student's mind that is not an issue, leading them to test the limits. This should rather be met by immediate punishment such as principal's office, detention, or ISS. This stresses the severity of actions, thus preventing its reoccurrence.
Educating students and teachers. Both students and teachers need to know what sexual harassment is, different types, and the effect. Students are informed, then they are least likely to sexually harass others. Teachers have been sexual harassment, and it could get more students reporting sexual harassment when it happens.
Some important resources for y'all to look at is Crossing the Line, Sexual Harassment at School by Catherine Hill and Holly Peel. It's a book.
And this presentation has opened your eyes to a very prevalent issue within San Saba High School, and we thank you very much for your time. We'll now take feedback or questions.
What is it concrete that you as students see that a teacher could come in on Monday morning and do to help with this issue?
I think maybe first talk about it. I don't think it's talked about enough. Kids are constantly making sexual remarks. I think that's like the biggest one. And so I think one thing you need to do is really establish in your classroom that you won't tolerate that kind of thing.
Okay.
And setting examples by
As at the beginning, just creating boundaries, setting it from the beginning, just so the students fully understand what will happen, so when the time comes, they won't try and go back on what you've said.
I know a lot of classrooms have social contracts, and maybe social contracts and put something about sexual harassment in it.
Okay.
And just so that's an easy way to go into the topic so it's not seem random to the students.
Another way that you can help this is by not just punishing them too, but like educating them on like why it's bad, how it harms a person, like the laws that affect them.
So as an educator, we walk in Monday, is this kind of a random topic? How would you address that it's so random and out of the blue that all of a sudden I'm talking about sexual harassment?
I think maybe start off the class by talking about it. Today I want to talk about something that's quite serious concerning your students. They try to listen more because I know a lot of kids will just brush it off. But I think just starting the day with that, maybe discussion at the very beginning of your class.
I would throw in the legality issue, because like if you watch Fox News right now, there's cases all around the United States, which would be an easy way for teachers and administration to bring it up. Hey, we've been made aware of this, our district's been following this, we need to have a small talk. But I mean, I would go to the source, to law enforcement, and ask the actual legality part of that.